Revenge films.
My husband and I both work. But if I'm being completely honest, I'd have to say that I'm actually busier than him at work. My husband always gets home around 5 p.m., but I'm usually having to stay back until close to midnight every night. As for our days off, I only have Sundays off, but my husband has both Saturdays and Sundays off. Trying to juggle both working full-time and looking after our household chores has really taken a toll on me. But for some reason, my husband never offers to help out with anything around the house. I've asked him time and time again to help out sometimes, but all he ever says to me is,
"It's the wife's job to do the chores, not the husband's."
What archaic period are you stuck in? Nowadays, a lot of married working couples split chore duties 50-50.
That's up to them, but in this household, it's your responsibility to do the chores.
You know my work is more demanding than yours. Can't you help out even a little with things around the house?
I'm the one that's allowing you to still keep working, otherwise you'd just be a simple housewife. So stop acting superior to me. You have the privilege of making more money for the both of us, but still, household chores are all your duty.
He kept blabbering on. Not only did he have this stubbornly obsolete way of thinking, he also went out of his way to even tell me how I was doing the chores around the house all wrong.
Ew, this food is gross. Don't you dare buy prepackaged food for us to eat for dinner ever again. You better cook.
There's only so much I can do, so sometimes I'll have to buy prepackaged food for us. After I get home from work, I don't always have time to be cooking a whole meal for the both of us. And even when I do cook for the both of us, you always say how I'm taking too long and to hurry up. Either way, I can't seem to please you.
Well, that's all on you. Even when you have 5 minutes to spare, you should use that time to prepare food in advance for the both of us.
Do you seriously think I even have 5 minutes to spare in a day? You know I only have 1 day off in a week, and that day off of mine usually ends with me simply getting around to completing all the chores around the house.
Shut it already! Stop making excuses. You're just not a great wife. Admit it. My friends' wives all make amazingly delicious food every day for their husbands. You're just failing at being a proper wife. Here, take a look at my friend's Instagram.
And with that, he showed me photos of beautiful-looking food that his friend had uploaded. Wait, but your friend's wife is a homemaker, right? How can you compare me with her? Our lifestyles are essentially completely different. Also, it even says here that they have a maid to clean their place, so that means they have help around the house.
I told you to shut it! Just accept it that you're a lousy wife and housewife.
What's wrong with him? If we're going to be comparing people, then I'd have to say that you definitely don't make more money than your friend, so that's a comparison I could be belittling you for. But that also means that they have more money to spend on luxuries like maids, so again, how can you be comparing our household to theirs? I couldn't help but feel overwhelmed with the fact that my husband blatantly refused to help out with any of the house chores. If he were to sometimes thank me for all the work I do around the house, then that would have made me feel even a little bit better, but he couldn't even do that. It really seemed as though he genuinely thought that chores around the house were strictly the duty of women. A few days after our big argument, I was driving to work when all of a sudden I was in a car accident. I lost consciousness from the impact of the crash and had to be taken to the hospital by ambulance. Even after I got to the hospital, I was still unconscious. Luckily, after a while, I finally came around. Oh, you finally opened your eyes. You were in a car accident and you were taken to the hospital. Do you have any recollection of that? I'm sorry. It's hard for me to remember anything at the moment. I see. It might take some time. For the time being, however, we found your company ID on you, so we contacted your company on your behalf. We got word that your company then contacted your emergency contact and told them about what had happened to you. Oh, thank you for all of that. You'll have to be hospitalized for a while, but I hope you can take some time to relax while you're here with us. The doctor will be with you shortly to explain exactly what happened to you and what things will be looking like moving forward. With that, the nurse left my room. Ouch. My whole body really hurts. I sat up slowly and checked my phone. I found that my husband had called me many times. That's when I remembered that the nurse had said that she'd gotten my company to contact my emergency contact, so I thought that my husband had tried to reach me out of worry for my safety. But I soon found out the truth was completely different when I called him back.
Hey, where are you right now?
Wait, does he not know what happened to me? I'm sorry, I guess you hadn't found out yet, but I was actually in a car accident and I'll be hospitalized for a while. I was unconscious until now, so I didn't realize that you'd been trying to reach me. I heard that my company had contacted my emergency contact about what happened to me, but you didn't get a call from my company?
I don't know. I didn't check to see if they contacted me or not. Anyway, I don't care what happened to you. Just hurry up and get home already.
But I can't. I was in quite a big accident, and I've been told that I'll need to be hospitalized for the time being.
Well then, who's gonna do the chores around the house?
Seriously? You care more about that than my own health and safety? I was in a really big accident and now I'm hospitalized. Do you seriously not care about me?
Stop making this all about you. If you're not here, then what am I supposed to do for dinner tonight?
I don't know. It's not like I knew I was going to be in an accident today or anything, so I obviously didn't have any food prepared at home.
You're seriously unbelievable! I can't believe you'd leave your husband to starve! What a thoughtless wife you are! You better do better from now on. Make sure that you can leave the hospital tomorrow, got it?
With that, my husband hung up. After that, I couldn't stop thinking about all of the cruel things he had just said to me. I knew from before that my husband relied on me to do all of the chores at home, but I thought that if he had heard that I was in an accident, then he'd at least be even a little worried for me. But in reality, he didn't care at all. And that left me really shocked. The next day, I had visitors in my room at the hospital, and while they were visiting me, my husband called me again.
Have you figured everything out in order for you to leave the hospital today?
I told you yesterday that I wouldn't be able to leave the hospital so soon. I broke my leg in the accident, so I can't even walk right now.
I don't care if you can't walk. I don't need some whimpering good-for-nothing wife. Even if you have to crawl back home, get here now! Or else we're getting divorced!
Oh, really? Sorry to bring this up now, but actually your parents are here at the hospital with me. And they can't believe all the cruel things that just came out of your mouth just now.
What are you going on about?
I said your parents are here with me. Yesterday, my company tried to contact you as my emergency contact, but you didn't pick up. So then they contacted your parents, which I had written down as my other emergency contacts. And because they were worried about me, they came to visit me today.
Wait, are they really there right now?
Yes, they are. I'm telling you the truth. We heard everything from your wife, Trent. What's wrong with you?
No way!
We're going to be on our way to your place soon enough to talk some sense into you, boy. With that, my husband's parents apologized to me profusely on behalf of their son and left the hospital. Now that I think about it, I think one of the factors as to why the accident happened was because I was so exhausted. Not only was I working hard at my job, but even when I got home, I was still having to work by doing all of the chores around the house. And from all of that built up stress and exhaustion, I remember feeling dizzy and having to close my eyes in the car on the day of the accident. A few days after my husband's parents had visited me in the hospital, they kept their promise and went to pay a visit to their son at our house. I heard later on that apparently his dad was super angry at him.
How dare you say all of those cruel things to your wife? If anything, it's your fault that you can't be the sole breadwinner in this household, which leaves her having to work in order for you two to sustain the lifestyle that you have now. Not only that, but then you demand that your wife comes home and does all of the chores around the house all by herself? I don't remember bringing you up to be this heartless, Trent!
And with that, he beat up his son. After that, I got in contact with my husband's parents again and let them know that I was thinking of getting divorced from him. They understood my decision to do so, and they even offered to get the divorce papers for me, seeing as I still couldn't walk on account of having a broken leg. I was able to get the divorce papers from them, and I signed them straight away and sent them back to my house in order for my husband to sign them too.
Hey! What's this?
It's obviously divorce papers. Why are you so surprised? You're the one that brought up the idea of divorce first. Don't you remember telling me that you'd get divorced from me if I wasn't going to do the chores around the house?
I wasn't being serious about that.
Well, I took that as you being serious, so those papers are my response to that. I can't be with someone who can't even care for me when I'm in need. I just can't do that to myself. I already told your parents about us getting divorced, and they both agreed that it'd be best for everyone.
Stop messing with me! We're never getting divorced!
I get that you don't want us to get divorced, but I know exactly why. It's because if we do separate, then you'll have to pay back all of your debt on your own.
What?
Your parents told me that when they went to visit you at our place, they checked the mailbox and found a letter from a loan shark in there. I decided to call the number on the letter, and they told me that they haven't been able to get a hold of you to tell you to pay them back. Now that I think about it, you don't have my company's phone number in your phone, so when they called you to tell you that I'd been in an accident, you probably thought the loan sharks were trying to call you, right? And that's why you didn't pick up.
I can't believe you called the loan sharks without my permission!
Says the person who was hiding the fact that they're in debt for $30,000. But that doesn't matter to me anymore, because we're getting divorced and I'm going to have nothing to do with you. Good luck paying off your debt, even though you barely put in any effort to work hard. Oh, also, your parents told me that even if you go crawling back to them, they're not going to help you with finances or chores at all.
Wait, please! I'll do my best to be more considerate to you from now on, so please, let's not get divorced! You know you can't just throw away the time we spent together just like that!
Seriously? Trust me, I have no love left for you, and our relationship has run its course. If you're not going to sign the divorce papers, then I guess I'll have to pay your parents a visit.
No, please don't!
A few days after that call of ours, I got word that my husband had indeed signed the papers and that we'd officially filed for divorce. After I was released from the hospital, I got straight into moving out of the house where we lived in together and found myself a nice little apartment. As for my ex-husband, after we got divorced, he couldn't do any chores around the house, so apparently he was living in filth. And because he didn't make that much money at work by himself, he could no longer live in the house we lived in together. So in order to pay back his debt and keep surviving, he had to move into some super cheap old apartment. I guess he finally got what he deserved.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.